Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm excited to bring you a video about neuroses. Neuroses? I think that's how I pronounce it. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video because the link is a YouTube video where basically it's where I got all of this information that I'm gonna share in this video from. So I'm gonna give you my understanding basically of that video, and I'm gonna give you a Cliff Notes summary version of that video. So, what is a neurosis, first of all? My understanding of it, based on the definition which they explicitly stated, and like they stated in a definitive form in the video, is basically it's like a disorder of the mind. And what characteristics does this disorder have? It comes in the form of things like a lot of anxiety in life. That's the main thing, like an anxiety and fear, general feeling of fear in life. But then there's also other less important characteristics that define neuroses, such as irritability slash quickness of anger. For example, getting really angry in traffic, even though it's not really a big deal, or just getting angry over really small things that you don't need to get angry over, or depressive episodes like having depression. Sorry. And there were some other characteristics that they went into that are symptomatic of neuroses. I don't remember them all off the top of my head after just watching the video one time. So now I'll get into where they come from. So a lot of neuroses, so this anxiety and like fear of life and this sort of thing, comes from one of three sources. So the first one is actually from the parents. A lot of people get a neurosis from the parents because they sort of emulate the behavior that the parents they emulate the way the parents acted, and the formation of a child's personality is very largely dependent on the way that the parents treat the child, right? This is common sense. So this is one of the major ways that neuroses spreads throughout society. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about some possible ways. I'll just be spitballing some possible ways to try to get out of a neurosis. So anyways, the second place that neuroses can come from is from conformity to society. So it's parents, conformity to society, and I'm going to explain why conformity to society. And there was a third one that had remembered a second ago. Let me think for a second. What was it? Parents, conformity to society. Well, I lost it, but maybe it'll come back to me as I talk about this second one. So, with society, I think it might have been technology, might have been the third one. So, with society, if people are conforming too much to society and they never let their individuality grow and become an important part of them, then they are very likely to be neurotic as well. Because think about it, right? If somebody is hyperly focused on what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Oh, what am I supposed to do in this situation? What am I supposed to do in that situation? That's exactly what a neurosis is. They're constantly thinking about what other people think of them, right? And to some degree, it's good. Like they're if they're fulfilling their duties and obligations, that's a great thing. And if they're providing positive output to society, that's a great thing. But there's got to be a balance between providing benefit to other people and with taking care of yourself. If you are actively harming yourself to bring benefit to other people, that's not good either, right? Like, say, for example, somebody is hyper fixated on providing value to other people, so they work 24 hours a day. Okay? How long can they do that? Their body is gonna break down, it's gonna shut down on them. Their immune system is gonna start, it's gonna stop working. Their immune system is gonna stop working, they're gonna get sick, they're gonna die. Their health is gonna deteriorate so quickly if they're just constantly working all the time without any thought or consideration for themselves. Of course, this is not possible. This is just a hypothetical example. This is not possible unless somebody's in like a slavery situation. But the reason why I say this is not possible is because the body would just get too exhausted at a certain point, right? But I guess they would just work themselves into death if they were forced to, like at gunpoint or whatever. They would just get worked into death, or they would get killed or whatever if they're getting beaten for not working or something like that. But yeah, it's dark. It happens in some places, but that's just a hypothetical example. Moving on from that, um, suppressing your individuality completely for the sake of others is not the right way to go. There's got to be some sort of balance between having your individuality and providing benefit to society. You got to be a little bit selfish. Like, here's my argument for being a little bit selfish. If you're not a little bit selfish and your whole life is about serving others constantly, then you would not take care of yourself, right? As we could see with the example previously discussed, you could not take care of yourself and your life would be shorter and you would provide less benefit to society and the people around you in the long run. Like, if you've heard of the concept of burning out, basically that's what I'm getting at here. You can burn out by working too much in the short term without adequate rest. The body needs rest. We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to excrete, all these things. It's necessary. It's part of our bodily functions. You can't just not do those things and expect your lifestyle to be healthy and expect that everything is gonna turn out okay. You need rest and you need individuality, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. That's what neurosis kind of is. It's kind of going crazy. So anyways, I talked about that point, conformity, pretty in depth. Now I'll get to the third place where neurosis can come from, and that is technology. Yes, guys, technology is so prevalent in our society now. Most of our days are spent with technology. There are people who do physical labor. They don't really need to use technology. But I mean, of course, they use lots of technology, like wheelbarrow is a technology, for example. But I mean, like working at a computer at a desk job. That's what most people are doing in the cities. Most people are working at desk jobs, or they're working at jobs that are requiring the use of computers at least. And even if their job doesn't explicitly require that, in their off time or during their breaks, yeah, in their off time, um, or when they're not working, they're still using technology a lot, including myself. And why is that? It's because, number one, technology is so addictive. All these applications on our phones and everything are made to be as addictive as possible. So it just sucks people in. I just remembered another place where neurosis comes from. You already know about the technology thing. I'm not going to go more into depth about that too much. But um, shoot, this just slipped my mind. But it'll come back to me in a second. Um, Another place where neurosis comes from is from not technology explicitly, but rather from. Sorry about this, guys. I'm gonna think about this. It'll come back to me in like 20 seconds. This is not edited, so sorry if you're watching this, but you can just fast forward until where I start talking again. Then that'll be the point where you should resume watching because I'm gonna think about this until I remember exactly the point that I was going to make. I just thought of it again when I mentioned that I just thought of it. So I'm gonna think for a second until I remember it. So just fast forward until I start talking again. The other place where neuroses can come from is from not fulfilling either some of your basic needs, like having good relationships with other people, or from not fulfilling your duties and obligations to society. You see, when you don't do these things, then you're lacking some fundamental things in your life. It could be having a good job that brings you good money, or it could be becoming and being too self-reliant. Sorry, not self-reliant. It's the wrong word. Being too reliant, externally reliant on your parents. If you don't have a career or a job that makes you good money and you're not doing your own thing, living your own life, then what are you doing? You're living for somebody else. You're not living your life. You're living somebody else's life. Or you're living your life for somebody else. You're giving away your freedom of living how you want to live. You're giving that power. You're choosing to give that power to somebody else. Am I saying go move out right now if you live with your parents? No, I'm not saying that. Personally, I live with my parents right now because I'm a student and it just financially makes sense for me not to go into debt. Like, I'm trying to start businesses and this sort of thing, but I'm not trying to live on the edge and work like 100-hour weeks and these sorts of things, 40 hours just to support myself and then the rest of it on the business. Just doesn't financially make sense to me. Maybe that is the best path for me to choose. Honestly, it could very well be. But when I think about it more logically, it doesn't make sense to do that because I can get a lot more capital and a lot more free time to actually start making a business by living with my parents. But am I going to live with them for a long time? No, I'm not. I have plans to move out and go on my own, and that's what you should be doing too. You can't live with your parents for too long. And I'm not saying this in like an accusatory way. I'm just saying this in a general way. Like, people can't be too reliant on their parents. Of course, there's special conditions where somebody, for example, could have just special conditions. I'm sure you can think of examples if you apply your mind to it. But in general, people should move out on their own and live their life on their own terms. And if they're not fulfilling, this is the best part. If you stayed to watch the video until this part, you're a G. This is actually longer than the video in the link in the description, by the way. I would highly recommend, once again, to check out that link in the description. It's an absolutely great video, and it's talks about this topic even better than I do because they did it in an essay format, video essay format. So they had everything written down and logically coherent point by point. For example, even though I speak that way, like I'm going point by point and having a logical and coherent flow of consciousness, a flow of thoughts, I didn't write anything down. So I guess you could say it's like more relatable when I talk this way. But anyways, I'm rambling. I'm gonna get back on topic. When you don't fulfill certain needs or duties or obligations, whether to yourself or to society or to specific people around you, what happens? You have thoughts about it. Okay? So you have thoughts like, oh, I should do this. So what do you do when you have those thoughts then? There's two options. You either go do it, but we're talking about those cases where people don't do that. Because that's the definition of how people, sorry, not definition is the wrong word, but that's how people get the neurosis. Because they're not fulfilling it, right? Instead, they suppress those thoughts. So they don't consciously think those thoughts. But anxiety develops from within because they know that they're supposed to be doing certain things and they choose not to do them. So their subconscious knows it and they're plagued with thoughts and anxiety as a result of that. You see? It's fantastic how that works. Like, people get punished for not fulfilling their duties and obligations. That's what it is. And it's not that I like to see people punished or whatever. I'm just in awe of how the human mind works, basically. So when they don't do that, they feel that general anxiety and this sort of thing. So the solution to that is to start fulfilling your duties and obligations and to take actions that are gonna facilitate those needs that your body has and also the obligations society expects of you. For example, one of the biggest problems for men is having good relationships. So what types of actions facilitate either starting to have relationships or getting out of a toxic relationship and either getting out of a toxic relationship or improving your relationship so that it becomes good. But yeah, getting out of the relationship and starting a new one if it's necessary. The types of actions that facilitate these outcomes are: number 1, personal hygiene. Number 2, style / how you present yourself. Number 3, body language in general, or communication skills, both on the conscious and the subconscious communication levels. Number 4, there's a lot of things for guys that guys have to do. For women, it's easier, but that's not the point of the video. Number 4, understanding human nature in general, but that's part of communication. So actually just put that in with number 3. Number 4, becoming physically more capable, stronger, faster, better cardio, less fat, more muscle, more flexibility, more hand-eye coordination and ability to defend both yourself and others around you. Number 5, better and improved intelligence. Also, you can say eloquence, but that can go along with communication as well. Wisdom. No. So those are basically... Oh, and number 6, more money. Like, improve your job, improve your career, improve your financial situation in general. And improve your health. So all those things will facilitate your ability to have relationships with other people. if you do a thought experiment and you imagine yourself as a millionaire who is in fantastic shape and who is very, very solid in all those areas which I described. If you imagine yourself as that person, it would be a lot easier to get relationships, wouldn't it? If you're struggling with that. So that was not directly on the topic, but it is very related to the topic, and it's a very concrete example of how that topic applies to people's lives explicitly. So, guys, if you watched the video until this point and you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to keep making videos. I'm going to keep making content that I hope will benefit your life. That's the purpose of the content that I make. It's not just to put out some bullshit entertainment content out there. And leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Definitely leave a comment down below if you feel like saying something. I would appreciate it, even if it's just, I don't know, even if it's constructive criticism, that's fine. Leave it for me. I'll read it. Guys, I hope you have a great day. It's the weekend here. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, one more thing. Check out the video link in the description that I'll put down there if you want to look at a video that has a video essay format of this same topic, but it's presented in a different way. So I would recommend checking that out because that's where I got all of this information in this video from. I made a 22, I see I'm at 22 minutes for this video. I made a 22-minute video on this just now. It's all based on the video in the link in the description. Academy of Ideas is the YouTube channel. Okay, I'm out. Peace.